So I'm just going to quickly here now. Is the idea of you also don't want to let perfection get in the way of actually starting, right? And doing these things and implementing because there's always going to be something to do. It's a matter of how do we make sure that we work through a particular project, get that to completion. And so, we always like to kind of start off with a question, and sometimes we'll start off with a 1 to 10 question, like how would you rate yourself and something like that. What I would say though today, what's coming up for me is like what is the biggest challenge that you're facing since we have a little smaller group here. It is summer, so we've actually had some bigger groups and then we've had some smaller groups. So totally like it's nice because we can have a little bit more intimacy here. What would you say each individual like challenge? Like what's maybe your top challenge or their top project that you might be working on, and if is there something that you're particularly running into around that particular challenge or that project? So, if you want to, looks like Mandy has
Oh,
something.
I can go first.
Yeah, perfect.
I think the biggest challenge for me right now is we're not making enough progress quick enough. And yes, I have issues with like patience, but there's so much to do in our CRM. Like there's literally so much, and I don't have a team, so it's just me for the
Mhm.
most part. And so I get kind of frustrated because I see the vision in the future and I know what it can do for us and I know where we should be with it. But it's just baby steps. And I feel like it's baby steps for the last couple of years. And I'm like, we have to run a little bit. Like, can we run?
Yeah.
But I think that another big challenge right now, like firm wide, is definitely all the different directions that our teams are taking and like our specialist groups, right? Like they're all hitting the ground running and really digging into like prospecting, and we don't necessarily have the capability, I guess, but also like the team to support them. So just trying to pull things out of CRM or get things into CRM, it's very manual. A
Mhm.
lot of the things that we do are very manual. So we're getting there. It's a very slow process, and I would like for it to take less time.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, so I have a couple of follow-up questions here, and I also want to make sure, yeah, let's hop over to Holly, and then I want to come back to that because I do have a couple of follow-up questions there.
Yeah, my biggest challenge right now almost dovetails on what you just said. As our people are adapting it, they're coming back. Can we do this? Can we do that? You know, and you
Wait,
want
people
to.
are, wait,
Oh,
there.
can we do this or that? I'm sorry. I have a
Oh,
cold, so it sounds like
oh
I'm
no, that's okay.
screaming right
No, I
now.
just wanted to make sure I heard
Yeah,
like adopting it or
yeah, yeah,
adapting it. Okay, that's yeah,
yeah. So they're asking for more, and you have to be. You don't want to discourage them,
right.
but you also have to weigh these automations against stress testing the environment to begin with. So it's the language of how do you answer them. Gosh, thank you for that great, idea. And we'll look at it in the big picture of the roadmap, something like that, and
Mhm.
help them to see what you've already done for them.
Oh yeah, it's hard
Kind
for
of
them to see
keep
what we've
them
already done. Yeah.
excited, right?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we see that a lot now, and it's almost a good problem to have. So don't get discouraged with it. I mean, I
Yeah.
have to remind myself every day.
Yeah.
And then probably the other biggest challenge and worry spot we have right now is we are about to kick off the survey portion. So we're going to be doing surveys through our CRM, and we're kind of flying blind on that because we know what we want, we know what our response rate, what we want it to be, we know where we want our scores to be, but boy, when you're doing something that you haven't done before, you can't help but be a little bit nervous about it.
Mhm. Eh, Okay. And so that survey is that are those survey questions going to then be plugged into automations?
Yes.
Gotcha. Okay. And
Either
you have the
service.
automations built already? Or
We have developers working on those as
wow,
well. So
okay.
the client owner will
Okay.
know the NPS. The job manager will know their NPS. So it's going to report on different levels across the board. Yeah. And if you open up the client record, it's possible one client will have more than one scoring because it's going to be service based. So
Yeah.
you open up the client record and you will see those scores right on top. So that kind of automation that we're working in is, yeah, vital
Yeah.
to real information to use.
Yeah. Awesome. Great. And I know Mandy's on 365, right? Yeah.
Yep.
And then Holly, what CRM are
Uh,
you on?
Zoho.
Zoho. Okay. All right, gotcha. Um, okay. So let me go back to some questions that I had for Mandy. And again, sounds like there's definitely some things. And again, that's why I just want to clarify adoption versus adapting. It sounds like adoption is pretty high, which is good for you, Holly, right? But
It's better than we thought, but
okay.
still want more.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's always going to be the case.
Yeah,
Yeah, got it.
yeah,
Got it.
yeah.
Um, but the direction for the different teams, so going back to Mandy and what you're looking at there with on the prospecting side and um the baby steps and the speed in which how are so since there's a lot more people that are doing the prospecting, how many active people are in your CRM right now?
We currently have, I want to say 187 full user licenses.
Okay.
Um, we have a very low adoption rate. So there are obviously a few power users. I would say the most or the majority of the users that see the benefit in CRM are the business developers. And the problem that we have is we hire seasoned business developers, right, who have had a history of business development using CRMs, knowing what those CRMs can do and how they can support them. And then they come here and we're like, well, we're not ready for all that yet. We're not there yet. And
Mm,
so then they get frustrated sometimes.
yeah.
They want a lot of things that we just can't. We could possibly provide some of the tools, but it would be a very manual, labor-intensive process to get them that data, or, it's just we're just not in a position to be able to support them like we should.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So,
Okay. Of the 187 full license, you said you have some power users and some BD. Like, what does the power
yeah,
user look like?
we have a couple business develop like they were hired specifically for business development.
Okay.
But we obviously have our drivers, right? We have some that are just drivers of business and they're the power users. I would say we have a less than 50% adoption rate though. Like they
Okay.
don't want to use it. None of them want to use it, except for the business developers. They're super open. I have calls with them and I'm like, look at this tool, look at that. And they're like, yes.
Yeah.
Nobody else really sees the value like that.
Okay.
Um,
Uh,
so it can be
from
challenging.
Yeah, so from the standpoint of like, and again, just from the adoption, I think that's a good place to start, right? Because these are people that are already using it. Um,
Mhm.
and when you look at that, I mean, almost going back to something that Holly was talking about with the survey, have you looked at or have you even just kind of done your own analysis of what are the things that most are using that are really, really helpful for them? And then what are the things that aren't? Because again, some of the things that are already being used, can that be improved in a way instead of taking on a new product? Like again, it's almost kind of that idea. I read this book years ago called Scrum, The Art of Doing Twice the Work in Half the Time.
Mhm.
And have you ever heard of the term Scrum or okay.
No.
So Scrum is a rugby term, but basically the way that it has been applied in business is that you take on these scrums where once a month or once a week or whatever, you say like, I want to get this project so far. And they used an example of a car company. I don't know which car company, but they were basically scrumming the car. And they're like, we're going to get this car going. It's not going to have inner fenders when we first start, right? But we want to get it done. Then it's like then we're going to work on some of the mirrors. Then we're going to work on the glass and whatever. But like each week they focus on some aspect of getting this car moving. It's like you could drive a car down the road without the inner fenders, but
Yeah.
like eventually you're going to need that when you want to take it to market and sell it. And so I wonder if is there something as you have this car built, like yes, you've got the four wheels on it, you've got the body around it, but maybe the inner fenders aren't working, but like there's also you're also missing an engine, right? Or I don't know, like that's not very true. Like I know that, but like what exactly could that maybe air conditioning because it's like now summertime. Hey, we can add air conditioning in now because people are going to be using air conditioning for the next couple months. So let's add
Right.
air conditioning. So I'm just wondering if there's a way because it is you, right? And because there's so many things. I mean, like it could take probably 10 to 15 of you to really get all of the things that would need to be done.
Mhm.
But I also and like I also hear that like I love how you're regularly here on these calls, right? And like I hear you want to serve the team and so also I also hear a lot of the like I don't even want to say criticism on yourself, but like yeah,
Mhm.
you wish you could do more, right?
Right. Yeah.
And so I just wonder like what could you do where you're like you are feeling those wins and the team is also feeling those wins because I think both of those things are maybe you're feeling a little absent and that's hard, right? Especially when you
Yeah.
care as much as you do. And so
Right.
that's I don't know, that's again one thing that I'm hearing inside of it all. And so I'm just wondering, is there a way from the progress perspective to like, hey, we're gonna go from here to here and then from here to here. And then like all of a sudden, like a month, 2 months from now,
Yeah.
you're like here, and it's like, whoa, how do we get here? Yeah, we
Yeah.
don't have all of these other things. We still don't have the inner fenders, but we got the air conditioner, and yet, guess
Yeah.
what? Winter's coming, so we got the heater coming in too. And I don't know, like
Yeah.
how's that feeling? How's that
No, that's a
sounding?
good way to look at it. Yeah, I think that part of it too is we have a very complex business model. So the teams just work differently. They do, and it's just like CRM is just like very generic from who we were. I mean, it was built when we were not the firm that we are now, right?
Right.
So it's just almost like I really just want to throw it away and start over at this point. So, and we did just get a new vendor. Like, I'm very happy with the vendor we're working with. So and he's very proactive. So I'm looking forward to working with him. But
Yeah.
firm projects are kind of getting in the way too. And he's only one person and I'm only one person. I'm like, I just need like a team of 10 people, like, so we can brainstorm and make a plan. I feel like I'm just not getting as far as I'd like to get. And I do feel bad for not being able to support them. Like, I know what they're wanting. I mean,
Yeah.
I come from a background of business development, client management, CRMs, using working CRMs. And
Yeah.
so I see the vision and I know what it can be.
Yeah.
It's just getting us there.
One other thing, and Holly, I don't know if there's anything too, like, because we've also, like, again, Mandy's experience is a lot too. This isn't like just me being the person or Cam being that or whatever. Like, whatever, if there's something that you're like, hey, I would suggest this. I mean, again, feel free to.
Yeah,
This is an open discussion.
yeah, Mandy, you did make me think of things, but I want to back up a minute. There's just you and one support vendor, like a developer,
Yeah, so
out of
we
how many staff?
yeah.
Okay,
So
that's what's getting to me right now.
yeah, help. But before me, so we didn't have anyone to actually focus their. We didn't have a role directly for CRM at all before me. And I actually was the person that was using CRM a lot, supporting other teams. And I was like, this is so broken, like I can't even stand it. And then I just kind of like evolved this plan, and I'm like, we need someone. Like we're not going to get anywhere in the future. Our data is going to be terrible, first of all. But like so it's just been just a very slow process because we just kind of weren't in a position to like even understand what the problems were. And so I've just kind of like identified all these things. And then we, identified that we needed a better vendor that could get us to where we need to be. Right. And it's really, yeah, there is only me. And there's another, so I work directly with someone else that she's more of like the IT piece of it, like more of the integration pieces, right? Like she does a lot of that stuff. And then there's our vendor. So it's
Mhm.
in, but I'm user support. I'm all of it. So I'm like data operations and user support. And it's a lot.
Yeah, bless
It's
your
a
heart.
lot.
We we have an intern and we use him for data integrity because we like to like next year's intern will get that same job
Mhm.
kind of thing.
Yeah.
So that helps. And I think I mentioned this at the last meeting. There were two things. Like, first of all, if you can publish your roadmap, kind of keep them at bay to let them know you're doing something, but Rome wasn't built in a day, kind of thing. Goes back to
Right.
the scrub thing. And then if you've got top down buy-in, that is what. If you ask me what was the biggest success factor, or I don't even want to use success factor right now, but the biggest key to hopefully making this a success was that we had top down buy-in. CEO and COO said this is the way it's going to be.
Yeah, that's not
If
that's
it
not the
ain't
case
in,
here,
if it's not in
unfortunately.
the CRM, it's not going to count.
Yeah.
To that degree, they've gone. So yeah, if you can somehow like show them why, then maybe
Mhm.
they'll buy in at the top and then get you that support you need.
Yeah, I've definitely tried that. I've tried a lot of
Mhm,
things. And I'm like, I'm a firm believer in CRM is the most important software that any business can have, right? It's like your
mhm,
past, present, your future. You can project your future. I mean, there's so much that it can do. And I think I'm a little more passionate about it than most.
Yeah.
But yes, I have tried that. Yeah, I don't mean to make this all about, me, but yeah, it is a struggle for sure. It's just
Yeah, but it's
CRM is just a
common.
monster
Yeah.
and
Yeah, I think to me personally, I think what you're going through is not uncommon. What got me was there's
One
only you.
187 full users.
That's what got me. Wow. Um, I mean, the only other thing I could think of would be, and we did this, is find something that takes away from their plate. What we identified was we got our CRM to talk to our time and billing system.
hmm
And so we said, hey, if you'll use your CRM, you'll never have to go upload a new job or a new client into PE again. It goes straight from your pipeline into one in the system. So that they loved. That
hmm
helped. I don't know how yours is made up, but if
We
there's
do.
something that you
Same.
could kind
Yeah.
of say, hey, we will do this for you if you will do the system, it kind of
Yeah.
trades off. So that's those were my two biggest things, like that and top down
Yeah.
buy-in.
Yeah. Thank you for that.
We we spoke. I think that, yeah, really, really good feedback, Holly. And I apologize. I'm sorry. Yes, you were on a past call, so I'm sorry that I didn't recognize that.
Yeah, yeah, 2 months ago.
Honor
Yeah.
that. Okay,
That's why I was
yeah.
such
Okay.
bummed out I couldn't make it last month.
Yeah,
So.
yeah. Um, so yeah, and I wondered too how when you look at the things that to what Holly was just mentioning about taking off of their plate, um, are there some other automations or emails that even like the team can start to pool together? And one thing that this is going to sound like I'm going off a tangent in here a little bit, but I'm going to bring it back. In the different roles and the power users, the business developers, all of them, um, in at the AIM Summit, one thing that Mike and I spoke about from stage before we got into some of our outreach is I said, I'd like for you to kind of think about, and I said this is a big question to start off with it, but who are you? And I kind of brought it, I reined it in a little bit, and I said, if you think about who you are, to your firm or who the partner is and what they're doing as far as business development goes, are you the thought leader? Are you the person who's really coming up with all these cool new ideas of how things are done? Are you a connector? Like, do you love connecting this person to that person because you're just that you are that connector type of person? Or are you the doer, right? You just want to put your head down and you want to do the work. And while that's very applicable on the business development side and the partner side, like kind of recognizing some of the partners simply just want to do the returns. They want to do
Right.
they want to do all of that,
Right.
right? They're not necessarily, they don't want to be in front of a camera doing the thought leadership.
No.
But just kind of the same line, like I wonder, is there a way for you to be able to take a look at some of the main users and some of the business developers and take a look at how are they and whom are they? Are they the doer? Like, do they just like to call, smile, and dial, right? That's something that I remember years ago when I was first into business development. It was like, are you going to just smile and dial? And that's what I did, right? I did a lot of cold calling. But I also found over the years that I'm like, I love connecting people, right?
hmm
And I also love coming up with different ideas. And there's also like you can have all of those things. Like I feel like all of those things are me. And then there's also one in particular that really stands out. And
Yeah.
so I also wonder if you could get some support from the team and say, we're going to put doers together. We're going to put, connectors together. We're going to put thought leaders together. And you thought leaders are going to put together the emails that everyone else is going to be using. And this kind of ties into Holly, what you were asking or sharing about too, like people adapting it. It's like, hey, if you want to adapt it, we need to have some people that are interested in, okay, well, you want these email or you want this email sequence or something along this line, or you want this deal flow. Well, whom is going to kind of oversee that or whom on the team would like to join and create a committee around that? Because what we're dealing with, I remember hearing this years ago about just resourcefulness, right? Like, how can we just be resourceful? Because it's Mandy, it's you and a developer, right? And I mean, that is really hard. And Holly, like, I don't know to the capacity of what your team looks like for this, but like, how can you look at allowing people to also opt in their best skill set,
Hmm.
not trying to be the person who writes. So yeah, it sounds like there was a, I don't know, you just look like you had an aha or something. You wanted to share something.
No, that makes a lot of sense actually. And I have thought I've actually on other calls and stuff I've heard from other firms that they've actually taken a look at all their users and been like, well, we're going to restructure how we license people and really taking it away from those people that really don't need it. And if you need a new client, then AA will assist with that or whatever. And then, giving it to the business developers and letting them just, it's not a bad way to look at it. Um, the problem is too is a lot of it is tied to print like compensation and stuff like that, and so they are kind of forced to use certain pieces of CRM,
Mhm.
but everything else that they don't have to, they hand it off to someone else,
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a good way to look at it.
Well, and I wonder along those same lines if you could look at leveraging out like of 187 users, maybe you don't need 30 seats. I don't know.
Hmm.
I don't know,
Yeah.
50 seats, whatever. What does that do from a budgetary perspective? And can that also be leveraged into getting you some more help? Like,
Yeah.
is that a way? Like, hey, we're gonna go from 187 users because you know what? We got a 50% opt option rate. So we're
Mhm.
paying for 90 users at how much a pop
Yeah.
per month?
187 users.
Right.
Yeah, so it's like, yeah, it's like a lot.
Yeah. But we're talking about 90 that are actually using
Hmm.
it.
Yep.
So we're paying for 97. I don't know what the number is
Yeah,
that
whatever it
aren't
would be.
using it.
Yeah.
That you're paying that monthly fee.
Hmm.
And, I don't know, is there a different way? So,
Yeah, that's a good thought.
okay.
One thing I would add is kind of not so much about the user level, but when you're talking about what you want to build out and stuff, what we do here is like I work with the growth director. We spot the trends, we talk about what we want, whatever, right? One thing to be very careful of is when you take all of your ideas, you take them to your developer, make sure that you have them in the right order.
Hmm.
Because as the developer works, this person may say, well, this thing you got in number three is going to cause number one to break, something
Right.
like that. So make sure you say to them, here's what we really want. Or do we have them in the right order? Because
Mm,
you don't want to spend a whole lot of money fixing things,
Right.
and that it rolls out. Like when you have to put three with two or number
Hmm.
one, you're building in your mind the instruction level for the rest of the users. Here's a great new feature.
Hmm.
What you're gonna do, here's what you're not gonna do. But yet keep that in mind as you're putting your wish list together, that developer kind of signs off on the stress test of it all.
Yeah.
Will something break? So
Yeah, that's a good
this
point.
time. Mhm.
We have that happen a lot too, especially with our old vendor. And a lot of the stuff I do try to do myself. I mean, I'm really trying to also keep us a little more independent on, hey, we need these small changes made. Like, we should have somebody in the firm that can do that instead of paying 100 whatever it is an hour to
mhm.
change a field name or I'm learning a lot of things trying to keep us into like more self-sufficient, I guess. But
Yeah.
yeah, that's a good, it's so hard to
Call it
prioritize
a
now. It's like I
sandbox.
want
I
all of
know
it
it.
done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm learning how to use the sandbox, but I do the same thing. Like
Yeah.
I'll watch them work and then I'll go to the sandbox and say, hey, I just created this new module. Did I break anything? And once
Yeah.
they sign off on
Yeah.
it,
Yep.
they will take it live.
Yep.
Yeah, sweet. Awesome. Cool. So we're coming up right on time here. So I just want to say thank you very much. A
Yeah.
couple of quick notes. If there's ever a follow-up that you guys would like to have, we could talk a little bit more about that. We do some different mapping processes that might be helpful and supportive. So again, if that would be helpful at all, let me know. Mike and I are going to be making a change. We're still going to be doing it on the first Thursday. We're going to be more or less kind of doing a lot of the things are going to remain the same, and at the same time, we're going to make a couple little changes. So we've been doing a live CRM and then also a LinkedIn. We're getting less interest around the LinkedIn, just in kind of full transparency. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to pull together business development, including CRM, including outreach, and just again, kind of making sure that this is more of a business development Q&A. And with that, we talked about this a number of months ago with a number of you. We asked a survey around it. Well, a kind of a very informal survey, but we're going to go to 45 minutes on the first Thursday of every month. And we're going to eliminate the LinkedIn. So this is going to be changing. We're going to be adjusting some things in terms of the calendar and all of that. Right now, just kind of leave it on your calendar as it is, but we're going to be eventually working this into more of the 45-minute business development. So again, a lot of this is still going to be focused on CRM. And, again, we're just kind of making sure that we can combine this in a way that's continues to be supportive for you. So
Yeah.
that
I
I just
always
want to give
appreciate
that.
these calls a lot.
Yeah,
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
I
great.
have a
Well, no,
question about, yeah, I'm sorry, the LinkedIn that you were talking about. I knew nothing about it.
okay.
Is that anything where you update like all of their changing algorithms they've been throwing at people?
We are mainly focused on within that call about an outreach program. We talk about profiles. Like you want to really kind of make sure that your
Uh-huh.
overall profile looks at. We're not necessarily
Yeah.
looking at the sponsors or the ads or anything along those lines.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
just,
not like that. Yeah.
yeah,
They're getting into your posts, like how many times they're going to let you post a day and all that kind of stuff.
yeah,
And I'm
yeah.
like, and they're
So,
not real open about it either, we're finding
mhm,
out. So
yeah.
that's kind of was my question.
No, I mean, when there's questions like that, Mike and Cam have been a lot more involved in the LinkedIn side of things. So that's again where we have questions like that. Hey, it's around the business development. So
Yeah.
we want to really be able
More
to
holistically versus
more holistically than just
okay.
this. And like I said, a lot of it is still going to be around CRM because so much of business development is that. But I just wanted to make sure that you were clear on that. And yeah, so there will not be a LinkedIn later on this month. I don't think you had either of you had planned to
Didn't know
be
about
there.
it.
But and yeah, especially Holly. Yeah, you didn't even know it existed. So there we go. Perfect. Yeah, so we're gonna just we figured there's a lot of things that we cover, and I mean we're already at like a half an hour. So
Mhm.
45 minutes felt like an hour seems like a lot, but 45 minutes felt like a really nice kind of compromise. So thank you always, and Mandy again, thank you. I know that you've
Yeah.
invited a lot of people
I
to
know, and
calls and stuff.
I just really see I find a lot of value in this call, so I do appreciate it a lot. And I feel like there's like a shortage of CRM support groups, right? Like we're all having the
That's what
same
it is. It's a
problem.
support group. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what we shared the last time. It was like this feels like a CRM support group.
Yeah, yeah. When do we get our coins? When do we get our,
Yeah. So, all right, well, good deal. Well, like I said, more changes forthcoming. At the same time, just keep it on your calendar as is right now, and then we'll be communicating some of these other elements to
Yeah,
you.
sounds
But just
good.
be on the lookout for that. So,
Great.
all
Thank
right,
you.
thank you. And
All
if we
right,
can
I
be of
guys have
any
a good rest of the
support,
week.
All right.
let us know. All right, thank you so much. We'll see
Thank
you later.
you.
Bye.
Bye
Bye.
now.